I need to be clear about something before I start. I have a girlfriend. We've been together for 3 years, and I've been thinking about proposing. What I'm about to tell you doesn't change that. It just complicates it.
You need to take responsibility.
She said it in front of the entire team at the company dinner while pointing at me, and everyone started cheering. Chapter 1: The Job. I'm Marcus, early 30s, software developer. If you're not in tech, here's what that means practically. When a project deadline approaches, the office becomes your home. The company installed a restroom for employees, cots, showers, a fridge stocked with energy drinks. It sounds like good benefits. It isn't. It's a facility built to keep you from leaving. 3 weeks before the last deadline, I had been sleeping maybe 90 minutes a night. Short naps in the restroom between coding sessions, alarm set, up again, back to the screen. My girlfriend Nicole had basically stopped expecting me home.
Are you eating?
Yes.
Actual food or instant noodles again?
Yes.
Marcus,
I'll be home when the deadline passes. I promise.
you said that 2 weeks ago.
I know. I'm sorry. 2 more weeks. She sighed. She always sighed. She'd learned that sighing was more effective than arguing. I hated that she was right. Chapter 2: The Restroom. That night, I'd finished a bowl of instant noodles around 1 a.m. My brain was completely fried. I set my phone alarm for 2 hours and headed to the restroom. It was dark when I got there, several people already sleeping. I didn't want to turn on the lights and wake anyone, so I navigated by feel, found a space in the corner, laid out my jacket, and went down. I was asleep before my head fully hit the floor. 2 hours later, alarm. Except I'd forgotten to set it to vibrate. The sound cut through the dark room like a fire alarm. I panicked, flailing in the dark, reaching across the floor for my phone. My hand found something. Not the floor. Not a jacket. Something soft. Warm. The specific texture of a thin cotton t-shirt over. My brain caught up about half a second too late. Cold sweat. A quiet, oh, from somewhere to my left. Then the lights came on. Christine, our team lead, development division, 34 years old, single, known around the office for being sharp-tongued and impossible to impress, was standing over me looking like she'd just found something she didn't know how to classify. I was still on the floor. I was reaching for my phone, I said. The alarm. I didn't want to wake anyone. I'm so sorry. I didn't know anyone was...
I could tell.
She said it very flatly.
Be more careful.
I bowed my head approximately 40 times, retrieved my phone, and left the restroom as fast as I could without actually running. Chapter 3: Outside. I couldn't go back to my desk immediately. I went to the bathroom, ran cold water over my face, and then went outside. The sky was dark and overcast. No moon worth mentioning. I stood there trying to figure out what had just happened and how bad it was.
You left without saying anything.
Christine had come outside, still in the t-shirt, glasses slightly crooked, arms crossed. I'm really sorry, I said again. It was completely dark. I was half asleep. I had no idea.
I know. I could tell. A pause. People make mistakes. Don't turn it into a bigger thing than it was.
I feel terrible.
You should be more careful about where you sleep. She reached into her pocket and pulled out a pack of cigarettes. Smoke?
I don't, but thank you. She lit one and stood beside me looking at the parking lot. I don't know if it was the overcast light or the particular angle or the fact that I was sleep deprived and running on instant noodles, but Christine looked completely different standing there in the dark than she did in the office. Not the sharp-tongued team lead, just a person. A tired person who happened to look, I registered the thought before I could stop it, genuinely pretty. Your face is red, she said. I haven't slept much.
Your face gets red when you haven't slept?
Apparently.
That's unusual.
I opened my mouth, and the following words came out. You're really pretty. Christine went completely still. I went completely still. Neither of us said anything for several seconds.
Go to sleep, Marcus.
Right. Yes. Good night. I went back inside. She stayed outside. Chapter 4. The project ends. We didn't talk about it. Work was too intense for any conversation that wasn't code related. 3 days later, the project shipped on time. Every system green. No critical bugs. The team lead, Christine, sent a message to the group channel. Good work, everyone. Drinks on the company Friday night. At the company dinner, everyone was finally exhaling for the first time in weeks. Beer, food, the specific looseness of people who have been under pressure for too long and are finally allowed to relax. I kept my head down. Christine was at the other end of the table. I wasn't going to look at her. I looked at her. She was already looking at me. Half-closed eyes, either tired or wine, fixed on me with an expression I couldn't read. I looked away immediately.
Marcus, hey, Marcus.
One of the senior developers nudging me.
You keep looking at the team lead.
I'm not.
You've done it 4 times in the last 10 minutes.
I'm not.
She's looking back, by the way.
I put my glass down. Chapter 5. The dinner. It happened after the 3rd round. Christine stood up. Not to leave. To point at me.
Marcus Kim,
The table went quiet. Yes?
you need to take responsibility.
A beat of silence. Then everyone started talking at once.
What happened? Take responsibility for what? Is this about the restroom incident? What restroom incident?
Christine, who I had genuinely never seen operate this way, launched into a slightly wine-blurred account of the alarm incident, the dark room, my hand on her, and the subsequent outside conversation where I had told her she was pretty. She left out certain contextual details. The table erupted.
Marcus, when's the wedding? Team lead has a great figure. What can you do? We always knew you had taste. Take responsibility. Take responsibility.
Christine's face was bright red. She was laughing, but trying not to.
Stop it, all of you.
Team lead first said yes, then said stop. Which one is it?
I said stop.
But she was still laughing. I sat completely still. This was not how I expected this evening to go. Chapter 6. Karaoke. 3rd venue, karaoke bar. Everyone insisted Marcus and Christine sit next to each other. Christine had passed the point of being able to object to much. She was asleep within 15 minutes of arriving, head tilted slightly to one side, glasses still on. The team made increasingly elaborate comments.
Look at them. Already domestic. Marcus, she trusts you. That's meaningful. She only sleeps around people she's comfortable with.
She's asleep. She can't hear you.
We're saying it for your benefit.
By the time the karaoke bar was closing, people were leaving in taxis, one by one. The last senior developer to go caught my eye, grinned, and said something about being more cunning than I looked, then got in a cab and left. I was standing on the sidewalk with Christine, who was sitting on the curb, unable to quite get upright. Christine, where do you live? Christine, address? I couldn't take her to my apartment. Nicole was there. I called a taxi back to the office, carried Christine to the restroom, the same one, and put her down in her spot. She muttered something that might have been thank you. I went home. Chapter 7. The rumors. The next morning, the security system had a log. My fingerprint. 2:47 a.m. Entry. Christine found asleep in the restroom at 9 a.m. by the first person in. The security guard who noticed the log had apparently mentioned it to someone by 9:15. By 10 a.m., it was company-wide. Nobody asked me what actually happened. They preferred the version they'd constructed. Christine called me over to her desk that afternoon.
I know what people are saying.
Me too.
Nothing happened.
I know.
I just want to make sure you know I know that.
I know.
Okay. She turned back to her screen. Good work on the deadline.
Thank you. I went back to my desk. That should have been the end of it. Except Christine started asking, every week or two, whether I wanted to get a drink after work. Just the two of us.
I'm not busy Thursday.
I have plans Thursday.
Friday?
Also plans.
You're always busy.
I have a girlfriend. A pause.
I know. I'm not suggesting anything. You're easy to talk to, that's all.
I didn't know what to do with that. My friends, when I explained the situation, were not particularly helpful.
What exactly is the problem?
I have a girlfriend. I'm thinking about proposing.
And?
And my team lead, who I accidentally touched in the dark and then told was pretty, keeps asking me to get drinks.
Again, what exactly is the problem?
The problem is, I don't know what I'm supposed to do.
You're overthinking this.
She's objectively. I mean, she's not. I'm not saying
You just couldn't finish that sentence.
Shut up.
Marcus,
What?
you know what the problem is.
I knew what the problem was. I just wasn't ready to say it out loud. Nicole was at home right now, probably sighing at another late text from me. Steady, patient, 3 years. And here I was, standing outside a karaoke bar at 3 a.m. with a sleeping team lead on my back, thinking about the way someone looked in the parking lot light. That was the problem. That's where this story ends. Thank you for listening. If this one stayed with you, subscribe, leave a like, and turn on notifications. See you in the next one.